I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Went to Meijer's to pick up my medicine, and while I was there, I noticed something laying in the driveway, so I drove around the pile of hardware, thinking, just some broken glass. But on my way back out, I said, okay, looks like there's a bunch of screws and nuts and things laying in the road, so I'm going to stop and clean the mess up so that somebody doesn't drive over it. Well, turns out there was two boxes. One box was totally smashed. Everything was all over the place, and somebody's got a bunch of nails and stuff in their tires because they crunched it up pretty good. But I took and loaded all the stuff into this box, and now I'm going to take my newfound loot and divide it up and put it away where it belongs in all the different boxes and drawers and bins and places that I got. I have to say for sure, the thing I like seeing the best is that there's a bunch of these in it. Now I have some locks that need keys, and they're the kind of locks that have the hole in them. You know, they have a pin so that the key goes over the top of the hole. These are actually handles off of light switches. But if I can drill that hole out a little bit and then solder a bar on the side of it, I'll have a key for that lock that looks very, very cool. So, no good deed goes unrewarded. Well, it's 94 degrees in the garage, so it's not a good day to be out in the garage sorting parts. But it is a good day to be down here in the nice air-conditioned shop in the basement. This is all the stuff that I picked up out of the parking lot at Meijer's. Just a pile of stuff, and looks like somebody's grab bag box that fell off a truck. Now there's crews working at Meijer's, and I think it probably fell off of one of their trucks. And if they'd have stopped and picked it up, I wouldn't have. But they didn't, so I did. And we're just going along through and sorting stuff out. Oh, these are nice. I was thinking I had to order some more of these. This is some kind of a holding device. Looks like part of a camper or a tonneau cover. I have some of these clamps that were used to clamp down a tonneau cover on a truck. This might be a little small for that. There's a drill bit. Let's go ahead and sort these screws out. It's handy having a cupcake pan. Some of this is just going to go in the scrap iron bin because I won't have a use for it. Washers are always handy. And these lead slugs that you can drill a hole in the concrete wall and then drive that in. This end goes into the wall first, and then you tighten it up. And as you tighten it up, it pulls this slug up into the lead body and anchors it into the hole. This is a KP. I see there's several of them in here. So we'll be putting those over in that place. Some of them come with the bolts in them. This, I think, is some part of a storm window. Because on our house, The storm windows have a little peg like that goes into the track. You release the latches on the bottom, and then you drop it down and lift the window out of the track, and it goes like that. This is a threaded insert for going into wood. There's another one of those window pieces. This is the thing that you drill a hole in the wall, and then you stuff this through, probably a 3/8 hole. When it gets to the other side of the plasterboard, it'll pop out and you can tighten something down with it. Also works on cement block, but cement block has got webs in it, so you're not always able to lock everything in with these. It goes up against plasterboard just fine. Also plaster and lath. S-hooks. This is part of a storm window again. You've probably seen those. I know our storm windows on the doors have them. Screw goes into the frame, and then this sits over the side and locks down the screen. When you tighten up the screw, it pulls this down and locks it in place. These are kind of nice to have. Take a piece of 1/4-inch chain or a loop of rope or anything that you want, and you slip it over that. Then you can spin that up, and the nut goes up and engages onto this here and forms a chain link. Lets you replace a link in a chain. Broken piece of the box. These are screen latches. Screw goes through that. Flip it. The screw goes into the wood. You put the screen or storm window or whatever in the position, and then you swing that around and it locks it down. Swing it up like that so you can remove the storm window. So it looks like somebody was in the business of making storm windows. This is a snap that you'd use to you can pull a tarp over the top of something by putting a screw through that into the wood or whatever thing you're attaching it to. Then you can take a snap and snap it onto that. Lots of random items. I'm sure at one point in time, well, I'm not sure. I mean, junk boxes are junk boxes. But there was a chance that this was actually sorted out one time. And then when it fell into the roadway, things got a little out of kilter. Okay, now that I have that thing sorted out a bit, I can say, okay, the largest pile of whatever I'm sorting goes into this. I'm going to get a different method of pulling those things out of there. This small magnet lets me pick out pieces, and I can sort them into the bins a lot easier that way. Cup hook. And one of those snaps. Some of this stuff is evidently stainless. Might be brass, but I bet that's stainless. Picked up a sliver there. Probably a good idea not to be putting my fingers into these little bins. That's a grease zerk. Well, that's enough for 2 windows. It's funny, when we moved into the house here, I had one storm door that needed 4 or 5 of these, and I didn't have any. So I went to a closing of a hardware over in Kalamazoo, and they had them. And I bought a whole box of them for, I don't know, a few pennies on the dollar. And now I have many of them, and I get all these. Hose washers. Finish nails. coax coupler. Lots of cup hooks. Plastic wing nut. Everybody needs a wing nut. Slightly magnetic bolt. Bet that's stainless too. Yep. And that's a nozzle. A couple of them I have found in there already. Not sure what they're a nozzle for, but they certainly have all the earmarks of being a nozzle. They're little tiny things. They got threads on one end to thread into something, and they have a hole through them. So I'm going to say nozzle. More window frame pieces. Angle brackets. Mounting clips. This is something for a cabinet. And this is a mount for a mirror. Wax. I don't do much with coax anymore. Not that I ever did, but this is another end. There, we'll keep those all together right there in that spot. That's another cabinet latch. Now it's actually a shelf holder. Grease zerks. That's a whole lot of picking. And I've gone through a bunch of stuff that's not worth a whole lot, but then didn't cost anything to start with. It's kind of nice. The box that came with it is still in good shape. So a lot of the stuff goes right back in that box. And the other stuff will be sorted out amongst the rest of the bins and boxes because
The little screws go in the little screw boxes and get divided by size. And the washers, same thing. And some of the unique stuff is just going to be put away in a bin with the idea that, well, probably won't use this, but you never know when you need to have a brass threaded insert for a piece of wood. All in all, I did a couple of things. I got it up off the road so other people wouldn't get flat tires, and I ended up with some kind of interesting hardware. Not a bad job at all. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching, and I'm still working. See you later.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.